chickens, welcome back. I am so excited to talk to you guys this week about the Uncanny Counter. My family and I are enjoying this so much. I'm currently watching with my dad and my sister, and we are having a good old time. One thing I will say is that they are doing a great job with pacing in this drama. Like, I am fully engaged. It's not like a thriller, but I still feel like I'm kind of like on the edge of my seat. And then when we finish every episode, we're like, there's more, right? So that's how a drama's supposed to be. They're doing a great job with the pacing. So if you're new here, there will be spoilers. When I watch a drama as it comes out, I just wanna give the recap and I wanna discuss with you guys. So please give your opinions down in the comments because let's have an experience together. All right, so starting at the top with episode 3, there is so much that happened in this drama that I had to actually take notes this time. That's unusual. Man, I was watching Dodo Soso Lala last time and I was just coasting. I was like, I pretty much know what happened. A lot of things are happening in this drama. So, episode 3 starts off with So-mun, our main character, going on a mission, his first real mission with the Grim Reapers, okay? And it's so good because he stops an evil spirit from killing a little girl. I don't know if he actually was able to stop her father from being killed. Her father looked pretty dead. It was really sad. But he saved the little girl and he was so heroic. And then he almost beat that evil spirit to death. And they were like, you can't do that because if you beat the evil spirit to death, that means that the spirit just escaped. And all the souls that he absorbed or he ate before, they will just disappear. So So-mun felt really bad about that. And he was like, oh yeah, I shouldn't do that. Right? But he was a hero. It was so great. I loved it. And he even made a promise. He got to meet the hikers that this evil spirit had killed a year previously, and he promised that he would relay a message to their daughter. And even when he got into the car with the other Grim Reapers and you can't do that, that's against the rules. He was like, I'm gonna do it. And it was really good. That girl needed to hear that message. That was a jam-packed, it was just it was the kind of message that in 1 minute could really change the trajectory of your life. So I really appreciated him for that. I love the main character. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, Motok, which is the older guy in the Grim Reaper group, he is trying to investigate his past because when he woke up from his coma so that they could make him a Grim Reaper, he didn't have any of his memories. So he just feels really unsettled in life. He can't let it go. He has all this rage and he doesn't even know what it's about. So what he's doing this episode is he's looking into his past, looking into he finds out that he used to be a police officer. He goes and he doesn't know it, but he talks to his ex-girlfriend. And he's trying to figure out what exactly is going on. His police reports from what happened to him are inconclusive, so he knows that it's kind of a cover-up, and he's really looking into that. In fact, the last person that he called before he was pushed off the roof at the beginning, because that is a part of the story at the beginning, you see someone being pushed off the roof, and this episode you really put together that it's Motok who's being pushed off the roof. Well, before he was pushed off the roof, the last person that he called was So-mun's dad, okay? And so Motok is trying to put the pieces together, and he's trying to wonder, okay, is my, the hit that they kind of took out on me, how, I ended up in a coma, was that related to the death of So-mun's parents? So that is a standing question. So back to So-mun. His friends finally figure out that he can walk and run now because he just hasn't been doing a good job of pretending that he's disabled because he's just so happy that he has the ability to run now. So he's running everywhere. He's just running around town, running on buildings. He's just not doing a good job. So his friends confront him and they're like, come on, give it up. You're not really disabled anymore. And he has to admit, he's like, I'm not, and I can't tell you how I'm not. Just know that this was great. This was a miracle. And at the end of the day, they just end up accepting it, which is so cool. They're just so happy for him. And I love his friends. They hug him and they cry. And oh my God, I love his friends. I love his girlfriend because she is the best. Honestly, one of my favorite characters in this drama, that girl. She's so sassy. I love her. And she has a good heart and she stands up for what she believes in, right? And then there's also his friend, and he's they say he's a crybaby all the time, but like he's just like really soft-hearted. I can just imagine him like, in the future being a Korean dad that like owns a restaurant. He's just like a softie. I love him. And so I loved both of his friends so much, and they totally cry for him. They're like, oh my God, we have seen you, we've taken care of you all these years, and now you can walk. It's so good. I love it. So last time I didn't even mention that our main character So-mun has been being harassed by a gang of bullies at his school. It started out this gang of bullies was picking on his best guy friend, the one I told you he's like a bit of a softie and he cries all the time. But his best friend never wanted to tell him, but then last episode, So-mun found out and he was like, I'm not gonna let you pick on my best friend. I don't care if I'm like on a walker or not. And that was something, like he was standing up to these bullies even before his leg got healed, right? Well, after his leg got healed and he becomes a Grim Reaper and he gets all these extraordinary powers, well, he's ready to go up against these bullies. And let me tell you, he has beat them up several times. He's beat their butt, okay? It's been so satisfying to watch how badly he beats their butt. So he beats their butt the first time after he gets healed. But then this gang, actually one of these gang members is the mayor's son. And so that's supposed to make him like so special, right? So he's running around this school, just picking on all these kids. And someone's had it. He's just like, every time he beats them up, he's like, it's not that hard for you to just leave people alone. Just leave people alone. But their ego is so triggered that the next thing that they do after someone beats them up the first time, they go to an actual like street gang, I believe, and they bring that like batter gang to school to try to beat him up. Well, someone beats them up. He beats up the batter gang, like the ones that like are like going with knives and stuff, right? He beats them up, so that's really great, which kind of leads us into the next episode. This gang of bullies has the audacity to kidnap his best friends. I mean, honestly, some people don't know when to let things go. They just really like, again, ego damaged, want to put him in his place, I guess. They kidnap his best friends, right? So Moon is walking home and he gets a call and they show his best friends, like they have literally beaten his best friends until they are bleeding. His best girlfriend is knocked like out on the ground and she's like bleeding. And so he is just, oh man, he's losing his mind. So then the bullies say, show up outside the school and we're gonna fight you, right? I guess behind the school or whatever, right? So Moon shows up and man, he sees his friends knocked out and he describes his friends as his parents. Like that's how well they've taken care of him and that's how close they are. And so when he sees them knocked out, like he sees red and like he just goes to a different place and he's just like beating them all up and it's great. The way it's filmed is like really exciting, right? Okay, so he beats them all badly, okay? And then he finally gets to the end and he's like punching that mayor son, he's punching him. And then finally the Grim Reapers run in because when he was fighting these people, he never realized that he was harming the celestial spirit that was inhabiting his body. He just didn't realize because he just couldn't control his emotions and he was out of control. Well, the Grim Reapers run in and they're like, oh my gosh. It's really funny because they don't even really like, they're not mad. They're just like, baby, you can't kill them. Like, you can't kill them. You just have to throw little jabs at them, Like, but you can't kill them. But his Grim Reaper team actually understands him. I mean, these boys have been harassing him for weeks. In fact, like, they first kind of met him when these boys were still harassing him, when he was still on a walker. And so these boys, like, definitely deserved what they got. It's just like, they were just saying, just don't kill them, right? So Somun feels incredibly bad and he feels the worst because his friends were kidnapped and like they got hurt because of him. And so he decides like, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna take the blame because they hear the police coming around the corner and they need to leave. And Somun's like, no, I'm gonna stay here. If I don't stay and deal with this now, this is never gonna stop. Like he just feels so bad that his friends got hurt, I believe, right? So then someone goes to the police station and it's kind of unbelievable because this one boy has beat up all these kids and they're like, what's going on? And then the rich parents of these bullies come in and they are yelling at someone and they're like, you are nothing, you're just an orphan, how dare you? And they even slap him and you're just like, the injustice of it all, right? But that's when, oh my gosh, the Grim Reaper's benefactor comes in. So the Grim Reapers have this benefactor like on Earth, and he actually owns a retail mart, and he like gives them money all the time. So they make that call, and he storms and he's like, what are you guys even doing? He chides the police people because he said, you guys didn't even investigate. Did you see all the steel pipes that these boys had in their possession? And they're like, they were trying to use them to, bully people and beat people. They've been bullying everybody in the school, right? So he chides the police people. He chides the teacher because he's like, why are you just looking after the mayor's son? You should be looking after all your students, right? And so it's just really fantastic. And he's also like, by the way, I'm richer than all of you, so go screw yourselves. Anyway, it's amazing because somebody finally stands up for So-mun because they're acting like because he's an orphan, he doesn't have like any worth. And so, I was furious, but I was so happy. Like the whole thing made you feel so good. After that, there's a moment of peace because So-mun goes home and, everything turned out okay. And he gets to hug his grandma and grandpa and finally tell them that he can walk now. And oh my gosh, they're just so overjoyed. In fact, nobody is really like looking too deep into the fact that he couldn't walk and now he could. Because I was just like, wouldn't you need to play this off for a few weeks? Like, oh, and I got a surgery. You couldn't really do that with your grandma and grandpa because like you live with them. But like he didn't really, I guess everybody's just so happy that there was a miracle. They don't even have to investigate the miracle, which I love that. So the next thing that happens is that the celestial spirits are thinking of stripping So-mun of his powers because he's not supposed to use his extraordinary powers to be able to get revenge on other humans, right? He's supposed to use them just in the service of this Grim Reaper mission. Not to mention, like, it's really cool because So-mun is like super powerful and we don't even really know why. I guess it's just energy is off the charts, but like he's like stronger than any of them were like when they started this, you can kind of tell. And also he activated like their territory. Like when they're fighting, there's a space that can give them more energy and power, and he's able to bring that up by himself, and usually it just appears. So this boy has a lot of power. And so anyway, some of the celestial spirits want to strip him of his powers because he violated the rules. Well, it's really great because his Grim Reaper team, they decide to come and stand up for him and make the case for him because they love him. Like we love him. And oh my gosh, in particular, the actress Yong Hye-ran, she's playing Mrs. Chu in this. Oh my goodness. I've been seeing her in like little parts everywhere, and I've always appreciated her. And like I said last time, I'm so happy that she's getting work. Well, this time I was like, this lady is an actress, okay? And I know like it's probably because like I'm not like Korean that I don't like know her, because I asked my Korean language partner and she's like, oh yeah, Yong Hye-ran, of course. But I'm just like, this lady, give her her own drama. She should be like, How to Get Away with Her Murder like herself, because man, she did such a good job. Her speech was so compelling and I was just invested, baby. It was really interesting to see the celestial spirits that were inhabiting each of the Grim Reapers. So obviously we've seen Wigen before. Wigen is the old lady and she looks very exotic. I have never seen like a Korean woman with completely gray hair. Anyway, she's so beautiful. And then there is the lady who's operating Motak, and she is just like hard as nails and interesting. She's the one who wanted to strip So-mun of her powers. So even though she's maybe not the most likable, she's super interesting. And then there is the guy, I honestly forgot his name, but the celestial spirit that is operating Yong Hye-ran's character, Miss Chu, that's her son. I'm pretty sure that's her son. So that's really interesting that like he was able to do this work in the afterlife, and then he was able to bring his mom from a coma. It's just kind of crazy. And then lastly, somebody that we never got to even talk about, the last celestial spirit is a little boy, and he's the one who's operating Hana, the girl who's in the Grim Reaper group. So that was like super interesting stuff. So it turns out all along that even though they were having this conversation about stripping So-mun of his powers, his celestial spirit, Wigen, the older lady, she never really wanted to, like, she believes in Somun, she likes Somun, she knows that his character is pure, right? And so she was just happy that they were able to call in Miss Chu to make an argument on his behalf. They and like her son did that together. So that was good. And then Wigan asked her son, I have to find out this guy's name. Wigan asked her son, Yomhye-ran's son, if he can look into the files on the death of Somun's parents. And it's kind of against the rules, but they go to do it anyway. Well, the interesting thing that they find out when they go and look at the files for their deaths is they can't find them. So that's a ding, ding, ding. So that leads us into the fact that Motok is still investigating his past in this episode. He's going around, he's trying to find clues. He's talking to his ex-girlfriend, you know, who's a police officer. Now that he actually knows that it's his ex-girlfriend, he's using her as a contact to investigate things. And like, it has to do with the corruption at the police station and a corruption in politics, I think. Honestly, I don't have the full picture on it yet, but when I do, I'll let you guys know. Just know that that's going on. Oh my gosh, like I said, a lot happened. How are you guys enjoying it so far? How are you enjoying the show? Who are your favorite characters? The best part about this is discussion. Please let me know, guys. I'll let you know who my favorite characters are. Obviously, Somun at the top. I love that baby, Somun, okay? And then his best girlfriend. That is like maybe my second favorite character. I just love her. Ah, she's so sassy. I love it. I have to figure out what her name is too. Even I said that I still want Somun to get with his best girlfriend because she's just thebomb.com. I know that they're angling it for him to be set up with Hana, and don't get me wrong, like since the first episode, like it's slow. Like she's growing on me. And I'll accept it because, you know, it seems like that's what they planned. But in my world, he would end up with his best friend. And then third, Yomhye-ran's character, Mrs. Chu. She won my heart with her compelling speech. I loved it so much. So let me know who are your favorite characters, what you're enjoying about the drama, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, chickens. In the morning, in the evening, or sometime in between, I hope that you will see some Lexi on your screen. Subscribe.
How does perfection feel, darling?